In this video, I want to show you guys how this stay-at-home mom turned a problem so many of us parents have into a six-figure business. She was making $10,000 a month in her first year. The beauty is, you can do the same thing. You guys ready to get into this? Let's go. Okay, so this video is going to be about how to become a sleep consultant and make a significant amount of money working on your own terms. You know, I didn't even know that this was a thing, but I wish I did when my kids were little, because had I known that I could pay someone to help me get my kids to sleep through the night within just 2 weeks, I would have been like, okay, where do I sign? Because I know that this is a problem and there is a market for this. And when I found that Jayne Made does this and earns $10,000 per month, helping parents to get their kids to sleep through the night, I'm like, okay, I have to interview you. So I did, and in today's video, I'm gonna be sharing with you our interview where we are gonna find out how to actually find clients, how much to charge them, and what's just all involved in the day-to-day and how to become a sleep consultant. And I want you guys, if you're interested in this, make sure you watch until the end, because I do have something special for you guys that I want to give to everyone that's interested in this. All right, you guys ready to get into it? Let's go. Hey Jayne, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you today.
Me too. Okay, well, let's get first started with how did you become a sleep consultant? How did this even get started?
Sure. So my kids are older now. They're 11 and 7. But when my son was born, he was a really beautiful sleeper. He was sleeping through the night at a really early age. He was formula fed. He didn't have reflux. He didn't have any of those sort of like baby struggles. And he just did really, really well. And I thought I was like the best parent ever. I thought, I have the perfect sleeper. I'm doing everything right. And lo and behold, at about 4 months, everything unraveled. He went from sleeping all night long to waking up hourly, just wanting his pacifier, but it was sort of killing me slowly. And as a first-time mom, I didn't know why this was happening. And I'm an information gatherer. So I literally went to Barnes and Noble, sat on the floor, surrounded myself with a bunch of books. I was scouring the internet, trying to figure out, why is my baby waking up every single hour, needing help getting back to sleep? And so I figured it out. Turns out I was rocking him to sleep to fall asleep at bedtime. And then he was sort of going through each sleep cycle and then rousing awake and not knowing how to get himself back to sleep when he roused overnight. So what I needed to do is I needed to teach him how to fall asleep independently, so that when he would rouse overnight, he could get himself back to sleep independently. And so I implemented some sleep training with him, which is just teaching your child how to fall asleep and back to sleep independently. And really, it was life-changing for my entire family. It made a major difference in my marriage to have my baby sleeping. It was so helpful for my son. He was like such a happier baby when he was getting a full night of rest.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole experience was really transformative. So I ended up, just for fun, like helping friends get their babies to sleep. And then it sort of snowballed into helping their friends. It was like friends of friends of friends. And I was just informally coaching them through the process of teaching their little ones to sleep independently and through the night. When my daughter was born 4 years later, I had a rougher time as a stay-at-home mom. She was cranky, she was colicky. I was sort of burnt out from the stay-at-home mom life, and I was sort of desperately in need of something to do. And so I decided to go back to work. And I got certified to be a sleep consultant. It was really just intended to be a side hustle or a passion project, something to sort of make me feel like I was operating in the adult universe again. And what was intended to be a side hustle and passion project really turned into a thriving, successful, lucrative business very quickly. And so that sort of just snowballed. And now here I am teaching others how to become sleep consultants. And I don't know, I love to tell people that I'm super passionate about helping families to sort of get their sleep back and to have a full night of rest. I think I'm even more passionate about supporting women through the process of growing their own businesses. It's really, really fun.
I love that. That's such a neat story too, because I love how just your own struggle turned into something, how you can now, once you actually was able to solve that, now you're like, I can help other people do this. And now you can make money doing this. So
Yeah.
on the topic of money, so when you first got started, like what was like, tell us about how you started making money, because that is the scary part. Like now you've been helping people for free all this time, and now you're going to start charging. Like how was that transition? And then how much were you charging and how much did you start earning?
Yeah. So when I first decided to turn my hobby into a business, the reason that I decided to get certified is because I really felt like I had imposter syndrome. Like, who am I to charge people, for this? I was helping people, but I felt sort of underqualified, even though I was really good at it. And so I decided to get certified really so that I would feel more confident, like a professional. Like, here I am. I know what I'm talking about. I had proper training, proper education, and I am set up to support you, not just as a friend of a friend, but as a business owner in a way that's really thoughtful and sort of purposeful. So I got certified, landed, I think I had 5 paying clients my very first month in business, and I was
Wow.
charging, I think it was like 450-ish dollars. So I think I generated about $2,400 ish my first month in business. I connected with those clients. Most of them were in Facebook groups. Just, you hang out in these moms Facebook groups, and I'm sure you see it all the time. A mom will chime in, make a post about her 8-month-old that's up every hour and she doesn't know what to do about it, and she's sort of crumbling slowly and help, right? And so I would chime in on these posts and offer a lot of free and valuable and helpful advice. And I sort of became known as like a group expert, or somebody that could be trusted to answer questions thoughtfully and accurately. And with that help that I was offering people, then they would come to me and say like, "Hey, can you help me beyond just like answering my quick question? Can you support me?" And so I was supporting families one-on-one. My pricing, as I said before, started in like the low to mid 400s. And now, several years later, I charge $750 for that same 2-week virtual consultation. So over the years, I've raised my prices, and now I support fewer families, but generate a similar income.
Right. Now, so it's only a 2-week period too that you're working with these moms. So that's not even a lot of, and how do you communicate with them?
Yeah. So when I start working with a family, they sign on and pay via my website. And once they pay, it prompts them to fill out a pretty detailed questionnaire about their child's sleep habits, sleep environment, daytime schedule. I take all of that information. I put together a really thoughtful written plan for them, which outlines everything that they need to know: daytime, nighttime, all of it. And then we get onto a phone call, go over the plan, answer all of their questions, make sure they feel confident with the strategies that I've proposed. And then I largely support them via text message for a 2-week period. Sometimes I'll send those little audio notes, like a
Oh,
voice
yeah.
a voice note, if I have more to explain than what I can write out in a text message. But we sort of will audio note back and forth a little bit. And then I do a wrap up phone call towards the end of our time together. I would say most of my clients are entirely wrapped up in 2 weeks. I almost never need more time, honestly.
Wow, that's a schedule right there. A 2-week
Yeah.
period just with the family. That's awesome. And then like to get back to, so your first month, I think you said 2,100, and then you kind of quickly were able to scale your business. And what was that time frame when you were able to expand it more and started earning more?
Yeah, so my business grew sort of month over month over month. I think my first month in business, maybe it was 21, $2,400, something like that. I think my second month in business, I was over 4,000. Within a few months, I was having my first $5,000 month. By the end of my first year, I was having $10,000 months. Like, at the end of the year, I had, I think, my first $10,000 month. I share this not to say that it's typical or that everybody has this experience. I understand that my circumstances are, somewhat unique and definitely impressive. I'll admit that. But it was hard work. It was passion for what I was doing. Honestly, I had 2 young kids at home. Like, I was busy with them, and I was busy with my work. And because it was all virtual and largely done from my cell phone and my iPad, I really was able to juggle it all. And it was just sort of like growing my clientele. At first, it was me sort of hustling, trying to build a reputation for myself and find the clients. And then as the year went on, people started coming to me. Actually, right before we got onto this Zoom, just now, somebody reached out to me and said, "Hi, Jayne, I got your name from my friend so and so. She told me that you helped her with her child's sleep. I'm struggling with my child's. Can we find a time to connect to talk more about what your services look like?" That happens to me now every single day in my business. That most certainly wasn't happening
Of course.
in the first few months, right? I was out there sort of pounding that virtual pavement, connecting with people in Facebook groups, connecting with professionals. I've connected with a lot of like perinatal therapists, women, therapists that are supporting moms during pregnancy and postpartum, occupational therapists, preschool directors, family photographers are all really great referral sources for me. So I spend a lot of time networking and connecting with people we can refer business back and forth. But as my reputation grew, it became less and less about making those connections and just sort of supporting families at a really high level, because that leads to more referrals down the road.
Right. Now, and you just answered my question too, which was going to be about how do you find clients, which you just mentioned all of the different ways, which is
Yeah.
awesome. It's
So
not just one way.
let me just say, like, the beautiful thing about building a business that's largely done remotely or online is that you truly get to build it in a way that works for you. One question that I get asked all the time is like, do I need to be on social media to grow a successful business? I am like barely on social media. I'm on Facebook, but I am barely. I actually took an entire year off of Instagram, September to September 2022 to 2023, zero posts on Instagram for an entire year, mainly because I just don't enjoy it. I find it to be stressful and overwhelming to create content. But also, I wanted to prove a point to those who are interested in becoming sleep consultants that you can be successful in business without this platform. And it was liberating and great. And you do not need to be any one place. You need to be somewhere. You need to be showing up and talking to people somewhere. And you get to decide whether that's Facebook, Instagram, in real life networking with professionals in your local hometown, whatever that looks like for you, totally fine.
I love that too, because I myself, I just don't enjoy being on social media. I know it can help my business grow, but it doesn't have to because my business has been growing. So you can choose with this job, which is what I love, is that you're not just stuck in a box where you got to be creating content all the time, which to me is just so exhausting. So I love that you're able to prove that you do not have to be on social media to have a successful business doing this. So I just love this so much because I'm so big about like, what are some things that us moms can do with our kids here or at school? Like, we have to have a flexible schedule. It's not just a hard 9 to 5. We need something that we can work around our own schedule. So that's why I love this so much, is because you're dealing with moms as well. So they understand what you're going through as well. So there's not like you're not locked down. Now, speaking about becoming certified, is this something that you have to do to get started, or what are your thoughts on that?
So there are no sort of like regulations around this field. It's entirely, it's unregulated, for lack of a better way of explaining it. I often equate the work that we do. It's very similar to just being a parenting coach, right? Like you don't need to go to college or have a certification to be a parenting coach. What I will say is that if you don't have proper training, then you don't know what you don't know, right? When I was first getting into this line of work, I had the same thought, like, do I really need to get certified? I've been supporting families for a few years, just informally, but really successfully. Why do I need to go and get certified? Well, I'll tell you, I decided to get certified because I wanted that credibility. I wanted parents to respect me as a professional, and I wanted to be able to tell them that I was properly trained. But beyond that, I learned so much when I went through a course. You don't know what you don't know, right? So when I was working sort of informally, not getting paid, when I was just helping friends and friends of friends for fun, I had one way of doing things. It was my way. And what I learned through taking a certification course is that there are many ways to support families as they work to establish healthy and independent sleep hygiene for children. I also had zero experience working with toddlers, preschoolers, big kids. My own children were really little when I started this, and I implemented these healthy sleep habits with them in infancy. So I never personally experienced an 18-month-old climbing out of their crib. I never had a 3-year-old that wouldn't stay in bed all night. I never had a 6-year-old that was expressing pretty significant anxiety around being alone in their room all night long. These were challenges that I had never personally been faced with. So taking a training to learn how to handle these struggles that you've never personally been through on your own was incredibly valuable. We support parents with multiples. I never had multiples. We support families that have children with special needs. I personally had never experienced that. So there was so much to be learned inside of a training program. And when I went to create my own training program, I really wanted, my number one goal was for it to be entirely evidence-based, comprehensive. Well, I guess this is several goals: evidence-based, comprehensive. And I want my students to feel set up for success, to support families well, but also to have a thriving business when they come out on the other side. So I would say definitely you should get trained if you're going to get into this line of work.
So speaking of your own certification course, can you go a little bit more in detail about like what's all involved? So say, for example, someone's watching this video and they're like, I want to do this. So like, what would they get if they wanted to come into your sleep training program? Like, what would that look like for them? Like, what would they get out?
Yeah, sure. So my program is called Center for Pediatric Sleep Management. It's an online program. It's entirely self-paced. We have students all over the United States and even abroad. So everybody's in different time zones and everybody has different sort of time commitments where they're able to work on this. So it's entirely at your own pace. It's a combination of reading and video content, and it sort of toggles back and forth. You can spend an hour here, an hour there. You can watch 8 hours at a time. You can do it in a way that works for you. In addition to the online curriculum, we include 6 books with the price of the course. I do this because I really firmly believe that we should be reading all of the books that moms are out there reading, right? Like if a parent comes to us and says like, we're a BabyWise family and you're a sleep consultant and you've never even opened the BabyWise book, like that's problematic, right? So we should know what parents are reading. So you get the online curriculum, you get the books, and then you also get access to our Facebook group for students and grads. I always say this is where the magic happens. We come together as a community. We answer each other's questions. We support each other through challenging cases. We lift each other up as we work to grow our businesses. And really, you're going to be in a community of like-minded people who are all out there to both support families at a really high level and also grow successful businesses. So you should never feel alone inside of our community. You're going to have friends and colleagues and an entire support system to help you through the process.
Yeah, I love that too, because I'm so big about community and support. Because I'm like, if I were to get started in this and I have a child it's not working out, where would I go? Like, who could help me with this? It's only in a group that's like centered around the same thing. Everyone's doing the same thing. So if I had a question about that, is that where I could go in your course? To like, how quickly could I get a response to my issue?
I think the responses are pretty instant at this point.
Awesome.
Like it's support in real time. I mean, of course, within reason, if you're posting a question in the middle of the night and most of our student body is sleeping, then like obviously you'd have to wait until the morning. But we have over 600 at the time that you and I are having this conversation. We have over 600 people enrolled in the program. Some of them are still working through the course. Others have graduated recently or years ago. And so it's a really big active community. So at any given time, when you come in and ask a question, if I'm not there to chime in right away, there are other people inside of our community who can answer your questions. I've also recently appointed 2 group experts, I call them, inside of our community. They're women who have graduated from my program, and I trust them implicitly. They know their stuff. They're 10 out of 10. And I have sort of charged them with being sort of more official leaders within our community. And they are answering just as many questions inside of the community as I am. And then, you never know what you're going to get when you ask a question, whether if it's lactation related. We have several lactation consultants inside of our community. So if I'm not the best person to answer that question, I'll tag one of them, and really, like, you're getting the support that you need in real time.
Right, right. I love that. And so I know it's not for everyone. So talking to different people, who do you think, like, in your eyes, like, would make a good sleep consultant, just from your experience?
Yeah. So I think that either you have to have been through it yourself, like you are a mom who had a child who wasn't sleeping well, and you implemented sleep training in your own home and saw what a transformation that was for your family. So you understand what it looks like, you understand what it feels like to go through the process, and then you've been to the other side and see the value of establishing these healthy and independent sleep habits for children. I think that's one sort of like avatar or profile of a person who would be a good fit for this line of work. The other person who I think is also a good fit is somebody who's struggling in their own home with their children's sleep. If you have kids that are up all night long and you are really wanting to make that change, but you're not sure how to go about it, I would actually love to have you enroll. Not only will you learn how to implement these better habits, better sleep habits for your own kids, I will pair you up with somebody who has recently graduated from the program, who's looking for practice in exchange for maybe a testimonial or just to figure out how to get their systems in place. So you'll learn from the course, but you'll also get one-to-one support from a recent coach. I think that if you're willing to work through the process of improving sleep in your own home, that really positions you to be super empathetic and understanding of what your clients are going through. And then as far as the business side of things, like, not everybody is cut out to be an entrepreneur, right? Like, it's just not for everybody. Some people are better suited for a 9 to 5. But if you're sort of frustrated with the 9 to 5 life, if you're not getting joy and excitement and passion from the work that you're doing, I guess I'm here to say that there is an alternative. There is another way. A lot of us feel really stuck in our lives. I was feeling really stuck as a stay-at-home mom for a long time. And I still consider myself to be a stay-at-home mom, but now I have something that sort of lights me up and keeps me going beyond just dressing my kids cute and packing them lunches for school every day. I know it's more than that, but like for me, I was stuck in that feeling, like, what else am I doing here? And so if you're feeling sort of unfulfilled in your life, in your career, and it doesn't have to be all or nothing. We have a lot of women inside of our program who work 9 to 5s, and then they do this as sort of like a side hustle, passion project. They make, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month on top of their 9 to 5 income. Some of them tell me that doing this work makes them hate their 9 to 5s less. I've heard that several times because just having work that you are excited about and that you are passionate about makes you feel more, I think, okay with the fact that you are stuck in your 9 to 5. I think some people feel like they need to stay for health insurance, benefits, whatever. And sometimes, like, just having a side hustle makes you enjoy working more. So, if you're sort of like stuck and not loving the work that you're doing, you're not loving your day to day, entrepreneurship is really, really thrilling and exhilarating. And it's also a little scary and overwhelming at times. But if you're willing to go for it, I always say, like, the only way to fail in entrepreneurship is to quit entirely. As long as you don't quit, you're still working on it and you're growing, even if it's at like tiny little baby steps.
Yeah. And I think even with me and my business, what is so fulfilling, it's not even about the money. Yes, I love the money, but you're literally helping people. And to me, like, I'm like you said, you're like saving marriages, you're being just saving the mom's life to be able to get enough sleep through the night. Like, that is something that is priceless. So that's why I think you can do so well in this, paying $450, $750, whatever, because you can't put a number on a full night's sleep, especially being a mom with all that we have to do. So that's why I just love this, because you're not only just making money, you're literally helping people get some rest, which is priceless. So how in the world do we get into your program?
Okay, so if you are thinking you'd like to become a sleep consultant, I hope that you will choose Center for Pediatric Sleep Management. It's super simple. You can just go to our website and sign up. If you first want to do a discovery call Whitney, maybe you'll leave a link to schedule a call with me in the notes, I hope. And is now a good time for me to share my
Yes, yes.
offer
We
with
have
your
something
community?
special for you guys. Thank you so much, Jayne. She has something for you guys just for my Whitney Bonds community, for anyone who's interested in taking her sleep consultant training course. So we can talk about
Yeah,
that now.
so I don't really discount the course very often. I don't really put it on sale regularly. I think that my price, the course is priced really fairly, and you can make a speedy return on investment. If you put your mind to it and work really hard, you should be able to do that, no problem. But for Whitney's community, we have a code which will give you $250 off enrollment. The code is tried and true, and Whitney will put that in the notes on the bottom of this video. And the code will work on the pay in full option, all of the payment plans except for the 12-month option. There's no code for the 12-month option, but all of the other ones, you can enroll and save $250 off the price of the course, which is definitely unique for this community. I don't offer this pricing very often.
No, I'm so grateful for that. And I just want all those who are watching who may have been like me when I was just first getting my foot started in entrepreneurship with leaving my 9 to 5 or trying to leave my 9 to 5. I didn't want to pay for anything. I'm just like, I'm going to try and learn all this stuff myself. And it took me longer than I needed to, had I just said, okay, let me invest in someone who's doing what I want to do. And then like, even just in this entrepreneurship world now, like my eyes are open. We pay $100,000 for probably 4 years of college. And my first year out of college, I only made $28,000 my first year. So to be able to just pay a one-time small fraction of a cost of college, one time, to be able to make 10,000, 2,000 a month or 3,000, whatever it is, it's like, it puts things in perspective for me. Like, you're getting a deal. We are such an advantage now in this life where we can take online courses at a fraction of a cost of college to learn something. I mean, you go to college to learn, to make money. It's just like, now I understand, like, I invest all the time in different courses, because why am I trying to do this stuff myself when someone has already done it and is willing to help me? It's just, this doesn't even make sense anymore. So I just wanted to say that to all those who may have been like me, not wanting to invest in something. Only vet everything. I mean, I'm big about like success stories. Is there actual people that have taken this course? And we have so many success stories from Jayne. So that's why I have her on here today, because there's so many moms that have taken her course. You can look at her community alone that are doing really well. So that's why I have her on here, because she is a success story and has success stories. So I just wanted to put that out there for anyone who's thinking about it, or maybe on the fence of not wanting to invest any money. To me, it's a one-time investment for a lifetime of understanding and knowing how to actually run your, not only just to know about sleep consulting, but she also, correct me if I'm wrong, you teach them actually how to build their business as well, correct?
Yeah, I do. So the one thing that I noticed when I was just getting started in this journey myself is that all of the sleep consultant certification courses on the market, they do a fairly decent job of teaching you the sleep piece. But what's really lacking is the business side of things. And for what it's worth, that happens to be my favorite part. I think I have a really strong entrepreneurial spirit. I was raised by, my father's an entrepreneur, my brother's an entrepreneur. I'm not scared to try new things. I recognize that like most people are, but I'm not. I love it. I think it's thrilling and fun. And so we, inside of CPSM, we place a really heavy emphasis on business building and entrepreneurship. Inside the course, we have an hour-long training that's literally called How to Find Clients. Okay, we walk you through how to do that. There's a training on sales, marketing, one on business growth strategy and mindset work. These 4 components, I think, are the building blocks for how to grow a successful business, whether it be sleep consulting or otherwise. So we're setting our students up for success to be really thriving and successful entrepreneurs. And, going back to the investment piece, like, yes, spending money on yourself is scary sometimes. What I will say is that making that investment, I think sometimes is what lights the fire under you to like actually do the work that needs to get done to be successful, right? It's no different than, you know, if you pay a trainer at the gym, that costs more money than like just going to the gym on your own. But when you pay the trainer, you're probably also going to eat healthier and you're going to work out harder because you paid all this money to the trainer. Like you're not going to let it go to waste, right? And
So
so
true.
I view investing in yourself as being the same thing when it comes to business. When you sign up for a course and you pay a lump sum of money that feels like a big deal, you're not just going to let that go to waste. You're going to work really hard and you're going to commit to learning the material and becoming the best that you can be. And that's ultimately what's going to set you up to thrive. Every single year in my business, I make a big investment in myself and in my business. One year it was a business strategist. One year it was focusing on improving my search engine optimization. We're coming up on the end of this calendar year. I'm going to make another big investment. I'm trying to figure out what that is for my business for next year. So don't be afraid to bet on yourself. I think betting on yourself is the best bet out there. You're not relying on anybody but you. So you have 100% control. You're in the driver's seat and you get to dictate what success looks like for you.
Yeah, and I love that because the more you learn, the more then the community learns as well. Because I know you're sharing all that stuff. So
Yeah.
if you guys are interested in this course, I'm going to put all the information in the description below and the discount code as well. It's probably going to be for a limited time only. So you guys want to make sure that you take advantage of this now. Definitely get on her calendar just if you have any more questions to get those answered. And Jayne, thank you so much for just bringing this to us because now we have another route. As a stay-at-home mom, or even if you're a mom that works, this is another opportunity where you can have a creative outlet, another source of income to bring to your household. So anyway, thanks again so much for being with us today. We really enjoyed it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, if you guys are made it to the end of this video, I'm so big to see like who is still here. So let me know in the comment section below, just say that you made it, and so I can see who actually took around. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.